Hey guys, welcome out to the range. Today I want to do a video for you comparing two of my favorite sights. One of my viewers, Justin, asked, would you do a video comparing the Proctor Y-notch sights to the Spaulding cap sights? Yes, Justin, this is for you. Alright, for years I've been running Spaulding cap sights. Last, I think, November or October, I forget, I transitioned back to the Proctor Y-notch sights. I actually had a bag full of these things because I bought them for every one of my handguns. And then I transitioned to the Spaulding sights. There's actually a great starting point. The reason that I initially went from the Proctor Y-notch sights to the Spaulding sights is because the Spaulding sights have a tritium insert. They have a square border that's day glow green yellow, and it's really bright and it stands out. And then at night there's a little insert that allows you to also see the sights. And primarily the focus of those sights is for CQB work, and I'm talking like within like 5 yards, maybe 10 at the most. As you see here in this drill, I'm running Spaulding sights, and every one of the shots that I fired went through that running man target. So that was at Talon Defense, and then a year or so later I went to a class with Dave Spaulding, this one, and he was doing the running man, the robotically controlled running man. And once again, all my shots were going into the robot. I think I threw like a couple of shots, but when I mean throw, meaning like instead of hitting center mass, it kind of hit in the periphery. They were still hits on the target. So the sights are there, right? The accuracy is there. The reason I went to the Proctor Y-notch sights is that I was finding that when I was trying to stretch out a little bit further, like the target up there is roughly 40-ish, 45, maybe something yards. And I was having difficulty getting shots. Honestly, I was having difficulty getting shots past like 15 yards with the Spaulding cap sights, and I kept going, I'm better than this. Everything in life has a give and take. The Proctor Y-notch sights have a very narrow rear sight. So it forces you to focus on that front sight, but they're not as fast as they should be up close at speed. I'm sure Frank is going to disagree with me, and Frank and I have professionally agreed to disagree on several things. I don't mean any disrespect. I love his sights. Frank, I love your sights. Frank and I have locked horns over these sights in the past, and I stood my ground because the point that I had made, which I'm not going to make again, but the point that I had made turned out to be true, because literally when he called me, he was actually in his shooting hut. He went out and tested what I said, and he goes, okay, you were right, but that's not the way they were designed. I said, but Frank, the way you designed them is irrelevant. The way they're being used is the only thing that is relevant. I designed the comp. My comp has been used for other things that I never designed it for, and it kind of works. I'm not going to yell at the customer and say, well, you're using it wrong. That's irrelevant. They're using something that I designed to do this, and they're making it do that. The reason I went to the Proctor Y-notch sights is I realized once I got past the psychology of trying to find the perfect shot up close, and I found the good enough shot, then I realized these sights, the Proctor Y-notch sights, allow me to use a gun up close, and it really truly behaves. Right now both eyes are open, and it truly behaves like a red dot. In fact, I'm going to point right at the camera. If I slew the gun to the right, I have now lost the front sight. I've now lost the front sight blade, the dot. I still have a dot, and the dot is hovering here because my right eye is seeing it. Same if I slew the gun this way, I've now lost the left eye's ability to see the dot, and I'm left eye dominant, but I can see a dot floating off in the distance. When I am set up the way I need to be, I actually see two dots, one dead center and then one off to the left, both eyes open. I've now learned that when I see these two dots, one slightly off center, that means I've got the proper shot because I need to be focusing on the right dot. I know some of you are going to go, oh, you can't do that under stress. Sure you can. The people who say that, they're idiots. Don't listen to them. Fine motor skills do not go out the window if you've trained yourself to work within the window of combat stress. And I've had a lot of combat stress training over the years, over all the training that I've had, and I'm telling you, having been in things as a cop, I was fully in control of my body, fully in control of my visual acuity, and I found all the landmarks that I needed when I needed them. So all that fine motor skill crap that goes out the window, that's crap, throw that out the window too. So close-up work, these sights really work well if you know how to find the good enough shot. When you push out to the further distance, you can also make it work for you. You find your landmark, and you pull the trigger. And like they say in training, if you get that first shot, stop, because the students are watching. But the point is, 40-ish yards from me, first shot, hit. Because I know that the landmarks mean dead center, on his chest, focus, pull the trigger straight to the rear, and because the rear sight is so narrow, I know that if the gun moves a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, I'm okay, because this rear sight is really, really narrow. Unfortunately, I can't do that with Spaulding cap sights. Okay, now let's flip this on its head. What I can't do with these sights, with the Proctor Y-notch sights, is I can't do things that are in really, really low light, because I lose everything. The front sight, even though it's a really good fiber optic collector, it doesn't collect enough light to see. And actually, my light is over there in the vehicle. One of the techniques that's taught is to backlight. I 100% disagree with this technique, because what have I just done? I've just, first of all, killed my night vision, because the light color of my skin has killed my night vision. I've also backlit myself, and I basically said to the bad guy, shoot here, which is why I don't care for this technique. And I've also said, here's the source of light, shoot at the source of light, and the source of light is by my head. So I really, really disagree with this technique. This technique is being taught by people because it lights up the front sight blade. It's a bad technique. What I can tell you is that based on my experience in low light training and no light training, in low light environments, there's always a source of light somewhere. There's always a street light, headlight, something around you that's emitting a little bit of light. Not to mention, darkness is a two-way street. So, am I trusting 100% on, I'm going to be Batman, I'm going to hide in the darkness? No. I'm willing to trade the ability to have a direct source of light on me or on my handgun to use with the Proctor Y-notch sights based on what I know of fighting in darkness. These are things that, guys, we can debate this on social media till the cows come home. In fact, the cows are right over there. Till the cows come home. But I promise you, your opinion will do nothing to change my experience. And my experience in low light has been, I always have enough of a source of light to get the job done. Because I'm the guy that in training, I would intentionally go to training without weapon lights, and I'd keep my handheld in my pocket. And the instructor would say, on the whistle, fire, 5-round center mass, 2 shots in the head. Go! And I'd draw my pistol, and if people around me were like, what the hell does he do? And I would actually wait until almost everybody was done shooting, and I had maybe a guy over there and a guy over here, so I had a little bit of light left. And I'd snap my gun up real quick with these sights. And I'd snap my gun up real quick, and I'd go, yeah, I can still see enough of my sights. And I'd go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'd do the check, and then I'd holster. And I'd go, that worked. What am I missing? I'm not missing anything. People in the media tell you that you gotta do this, but then when you get out on the range and you actually do it for your own, you say, based on who I am, based on my visual acuity in low light, I can make this work. Doesn't mean you can make it work, it just means I can make it work. Or maybe you can do things that I can't do. What it really comes down to, guys, is you're gonna have to get your gear and you're gonna have to get out to training. The good thing is sights are not optics. So sights are all hovering around the 80-ish to $100-ish level. Guys, that's not that much money to invest to find out what works for you and what doesn't. Get a good sight tool, front sight tool. Get a good rear sight tool, a proper rear sight tool. I'll show you the one that I've got. Get a good, proper rear sight tool. I bought this thing thinking I'm never going to use this thing more than just this and this. I have used this thing so many times over the years. It has saved me so many drives to the armorer. And you end up paying these people $5, $10, whatever, to move your sights around. And guess what? He doesn't care about spending the time to really get that sight set up the way you need it. You take your sight tool with you to the range, and my mindset is this. Always dial the sight dead center. I do not adjust sights based to my eyes. These sights were adjusted recently. Oh, and actually this is one thing that I need to tell you real quick, and I better hurry because my battery's going to die soon. When I take really long trips, because I do a lot of driving, I take my gun off and I put it in the center console, and it lays this way, and it lays on top of my magazines. and it was very slowly vibrating my rear sight over. And I came out here the other day, and I'm aiming, and instead of being able to do that, I kept shooting, and it was missing, shooting and missing, and I ended up slewing the gun over, and I hit, and I looked at the sights, and I realized they'd gotten moved. So having your sight tool with you on the range is going to make a big difference, because if you try to shoot at distance and you realize you're missing and you figure out why, it'd be nice to not have to whack that gun on something or completely ruin your range trip. So having your sight tools with you is a good idea. I have chosen Proctor Y-notch sights over cap sights because the Proctor Y-notch sights, where I am in life, meet my needs now. Guys, if you haven't noticed, this channel is not monetized. I don't make 1 red cent off this channel. Everything I do for the betterment of the gun, of the training, of the firearms training community. I'm trying to give you guys the knowledge of all the mistakes that I've made to save you guys money. As I move forward, I'm taking out subjects that I've already covered and redoing some videos for you guys, because I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys as much knowledge as possible. The one thing that I consistently see from my viewers is comments like, you just saved me a bunch of money when I watched your video about not running an optic on your handgun. I mean, think about it. If you watch my video and you understand why running an optic on a handgun is probably not the best idea for a daily carry, last-ditch effort self-defense weapon, well, I've just saved you, what, $600 on an optic and probably another 200-ish, or 100-something to $200 on getting the RMR cut. I mean, that's worth something right there. So, and yeah, in closing, yes, I do not run an optic on my EDC weapon. I will never run an optic on my EDC weapon. Never. It doesn't matter how good they get. I will never run an optic on my EDC weapon, because I have seen enough failures of equipment, thermal issues, condensation issues, rain issues, cracking, failures, blah, blah, blah. I've seen it, and I'm not going to do it. So, as always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one. That is so satisfying.